Good afternoon, guys. Today we're going to be working on a 21.5-inch iMac. Problem this iMac has is that it doesn't boot. There's a bad hard drive. Now, we did some testing before we determined that it's a bad hard drive. We used a USB stick, plugged it in, booted up to the USB. When we check the USB, what happens? It doesn't see the hard drive. So it's completely missing. The hard drive is most definitely faulty. So what we're going to do today is we're going to show you the steps in how to open this iMac up, take it apart. Please don't go in jamming with a knife. Please get the proper tools. There is proper tools to take this thing apart. So I'm going to show you everything, how it's done, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to ifixit.com if you have one of these devices, and make sure you buy this cutting wheel tool. Now this cutting wheel tool is the right width to cut around the adhesive that goes around the LCD. If you fail to do so, what will happen is you try to go in there with a knife and you'll go in and you start cutting wires and stuff. So you don't want to do that. So please make sure you go to ifixit.com and purchase the correct tools to repair it. And it comes with these little cutting wheels. As you can see, this little cutting wheel is very small and it's plastic. So it's designed to just go in and cut right through. I have a whole bunch of them, so they do get beat up and go bad after a while. So make sure you have enough. So first thing we're going to do here, I'm going to install this wheel here. Once it's installed on this little fancy little tool here, again you could go to ifixit.com. I've had these tools for a long time. Maybe they upgraded to a metal one by now, I'm not sure, but I've had these for quite a long time. So this is what we're going to do and get started. So first thing, let me get this camera a little bit focused so you can see where I'm going to start to cut away. So I'm going to turn the screen to the side, and I'm going to gently start in the bottom corner. Let me fix this. I'm going to gently start in the bottom corner over here. So I'm going to work this in. Oh, that's a fail. Hold on. Let me stick this in properly. I wasn't holding it with pressure. Okay. I'm going to start at the side and cut away. And you want to pass this quite a few times until you feel it goes all the way in. Alright, there you go. So now, you want to pass it up and down, make sure it gets in there, cuts that adhesive, hold it on that angle. That's rule number one. Next, we're going to just keep cutting. Keep on cutting. Like I said, you want to make a few passes. You just don't want to go in and start pulling apart. You want to make sure that adhesive is cut nicely. So we're going to just keep cutting away here. Keep cutting away. Make a few passes. Don't be in a rush. Alright, we're going to go to the other side now. We're going to make some passes on this side now. So we're going to continue where we left off here, because you want to cut away. This adhesive is very strong. Don't underestimate it. Alright, get in there, and you want to come down here, and you want to slice away. So we're going to come back to the bottom here. Make sure we get it in there nice. And you just want to slice away, nice and easy. Take your time, no rush. Alright, make a couple of passes. I'm going to make one more pass around the entire unit to make sure that all those adhesives are cut properly. Feels nice and loose. When you feel the wheel spinning loose, that means you pretty much cut away all the LCD adhesive. So what I like to do is I like to lay these things flat on the back. Let me get this thing into focus here for you. Alright. And we're going to gently lift up. Now, if it still feels like it's not lifting up, then we need to cut away some more. So I'm going to gently cut away some more. There we go. There we go. Now it is separated, and we're going to gently lift up because it's still going to be attached. So what we're going to do now is we're going to gently lift up about 2 inches up. You don't want to go too high. I'm going to see if I could get in here and get a view so you guys can see exactly what's going on in here. So let me get this camera up here. Let me move it up. And let me see if I could get a nice little view for you over here of what's going on. So what connectors you need to disconnect and so forth. So let me get this down. And let me see if I could get in there where I could just show you the connectors that you need to disconnect. Alright, so it's gonna get focused. So these are the connectors right there. Those are the connectors that you need to disconnect before you lift any further. So we're gonna disconnect those, and then from there we'll lift the LCD up. So I'll put this on a little angle so you can see. And I'll go ahead and just push my hand in here. Disconnect these connectors. Now it can be pretty dark in here when you come in here for the first time. So I do advise that you take your time when disconnecting these wires. Because believe me, if you break them, you'll be very sorry. So now, as you can see, these were the 2 connectors that we disconnected right here. These are the 2 you want to disconnect. Number 1, number 2. So make sure these are disconnected before you go any further and damage anything else. So those are disconnected. There's nothing else to disconnect. There's only some adhesive down here holding the LCD, and the LCD just completely came apart. Now make sure you rest this in a nice gentle place because you do not want to damage this LCD. They used to cost a super fortune. The price has went down a little bit. They're somewhere around $200, $250, but still it's a lot of money on an LCD if you don't have to buy one. So always make sure you take your time when taking these LCDs apart, else you'll be sorry. Okay, so now let me adjust the camera here so you guys can see what's going on. Move it over here. So this is the hard drive assembly right here. As you can see, it's been held by a couple of screws. A couple of Torx screws. I'll tell you what size they are in a second as soon as I get my toolkit. Okay, so here's the screws here, and they're held together by 1, 2, 3, 4 Torx bit screws. I use my trusty iFixit kit for situations like these. I believe they're like T10s. Let me see. Yes, they're Torx 10. So if you have a handy iFixit toolkit, you want to use a Torx 10. That's what I'm using right here. So this is what we have to do to access the hard drive on these. There's No more beauty of just using 2 suction cups and popping your glass off to get to your LCD. Those days are long over and are only getting worse as Apple continues to perform difficult designs so that people like us don't touch anything. It just gets worse and worse. So you want to disconnect these little black brackets here, and then you have your hard drive will be easy to be lifted out and exposed. Now this is a 1 TB drive in here. It has this rubber bracket on it, so you don't want to pull too hard because the connections are right there. So you gotta gently work them out because like there's no tolerance the way Apple has designed these wires. Like they don't even want you to get them out. Okay, that's one disconnected. 2. So yeah, they make things really difficult the smaller they get. So this is the hard drive, and stopped working. It's a 1 TB drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this drive with a different hard drive and get this unit back up and running again. We're going to show you the whole process on how we do it. So from installing the rest of the hard drive to getting it ready, up and running again, putting in the software and everything, we're going to show you how it's done. Okay guys, so we have a replacement hard drive that we're going to put in here. So we're going to put it back together and test it out. We're not going to close the screen yet until we make sure it's absolutely 100% good and working, because you don't want to seal this thing up and then go back to square one again. So again, we install the rubber bushing. Remember, there's like no tolerance here, so you gotta like kind of like squeeze your hand a little bit to get this stuff plugged in. So we put our little rubber bushing back, and now what we're going to do is we're going to screw this back up. We're going to reattach the LCD. We're going to power it up and go through the stage of booting up the USB and see if we can get this thing to see the hard drive this time. So when we boot it up with the USB stick, we'll be able to know if it sees the hard drive. We're not going to completely install the LCD. We're not going to seal it. What we're going to do is we're going to just put some tape around it to hold it in for the time being, just so we can run some testing, make sure it's good. And that's what we're going to do first. So now we're going to take the LCD. Make sure it's all lined up properly before you let it down. Alright. I'll make those 2 connections back. Just keep in mind, make sure they're plugged in properly. Okay. Gently let this down. A little bit off. I want to get it lined up. Alright. I'm just going to take some pieces of tape for now. Regular Scotch tape is fine because you're only doing this for temporary. Just to make sure that it turns on and boots to the hard drive. Because when you seal this thing shut, you want to make sure it's sealed properly. Go ahead, put some Scotch tape around the LCD for the time being, just to hold it in place until we run our testing. And see if it works. Okay, so now we're going to stand it up. Let me get my... Now I must say, I'm using a DJI Osmo Pocket to do my recording of the device itself, and I must say, this is an awesome camera. we definitely upgraded the hard drive in this iMac, and we did the operating system, tested out, everything came up working good. So that was our problem for today. We couldn't get it to read the hard drive. So now that we got it to read the hard drive, everything is working smoothly. So this is how it looks. Upgraded the iMac, it's working sweet. We installed Mojave on here. It's working great. We got apps on here.